Good Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to the final day of the CEPHAS ROTH Memorial Tournament in Travistock. And we are down to the final 6 teams. This tournament began on Friday evening with 10, and 6 have made their way into the playoffs. And this morning, we have a quarterfinal matchup between your Hill United Chiefs, who went 2-2 in the round robin, including wins over Oswegan and Nova Scotia's East Hants Mastodons. They fell 5-2 to the Bear Creek Gremlins, who ended up winning their pool, and dropped a 1-0 close encounter to JDT First Energy. In this contest, they will take on the Bear Creek Express in a rematch of the final from 2 weekends ago at the Peter Hallman Memorial Tournament in Kitchener. And here is how offensively things will match up for Hill United. They'll lead Alan Pecker off and play him in right field. Bradley Ezekiel bats second, and he has had one whale of a weekend, including a 2-home run, 3 for 3, with 4 runs batted in day against the Nova Scotia squad. Bruno Matroni having a whale of a year, hits in the number 4 spot. Blake Hunter and Nick White, who just at 22 years of age just continues to impress. And they will take on the Bear Creek Express, who had not made a final this year until Kitchener. They ended up second in Pool B. It was actually a 3-way tie in their group of teams with 3-1 records. It came down to, I think, the 3rd or 4th tie-breaking criteria that allowed the Northeast Drillers to win the pool, and that was the only game that the Bear Creek Express ended up losing. So in the outfield, it's Davis Salgado and Callum Bichel, Cody Panabecker, David Galeno, Angel Adamas, Luigi Pinto, and the always entertaining Rafa Flores is behind home plate. And it is a outstanding morning weather-wise, as it looks like a lot of the terrifying cells that made their way through several parts of Ontario yesterday, and it was scary in some places for sure. We hope everybody's okay and things are fine in your world, and great to have you with us no matter where you might be looking in on this Sunday morning. Our umpiring crew today, behind the plate, the great Frankie Billingsley. She is a fantastic umpire, and I'll just say it, you won't meet a nicer human anywhere on planet Earth. Kevin DiDomenico works at first. Dave Thompson will be at third base. So just awaiting the teams to make their way. Certainly the Bear Creek Express, by virtue of finishing second, while Hill United ended up in third in their pool. They'll be the home team for this game. And to the winner, a date with the Bear Creek Gremlins on this diamond at 11. It'll probably be a little later than that, I'm going to guess, just the way these games have had a tendency to go over the last few years. 2 hours as a window of time is never long enough. It's generally not long enough in a lot of these games amongst the best teams to play the game, let alone have a little time for a break and lineups and diamond cleanup. And it will be Ty Sebastian who does indeed start the game, always listed every time he pitches as the designated player. But if you watch the warm-up, you had a pretty good idea that it would be the gentleman I refer to as the Brussels Bulldog. He's from Brussels, Ontario, and he is truly one of the great all-round players in this sport when you think about the combination of pitching, and he can play in the infield, and he's a terrific hitter. So far this year, Ty Sebastian, the 30-year-old, has pitched 6 1/3 innings against Hill United. He's given up 7 runs on 12 hits, struck out 8 and walked 3. He pitched 4 1/3 in the crazy last meeting of these two teams. It was the final in Kitchener, and the game ended up 9-8. Hill was down twice by 5 runs battle of 4 runs and then 5 runs. They actually came back from 4 down to lead 5-4. Ended up then trailing by a count of 9-5 and almost in the 7th inning of that game forced an extra inning. So we'll see what these two terrific teams have in store. This week, the schedule and the big bracket came up for the upcoming ISC World Tournament, which these two teams will figure prominently in. It is the 4th meeting of the season. It took a while for them to start to play one another. In fact, they'd only played 1 game until they met twice at the Hallman Memorial in Kitchener. So we are about set to go. And Hill United has been in the last 3 consecutive tournament finals. And today it will require some great work as Alan Pecker takes the first Ty Sebastian pitch for a ball. Alan, in search of his first hit this weekend in Tavistock, he's 0 for 6 in the event. And Sebastian finds an outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll try to keep you abreast of what's going on in the quarterfinal game over at Optimist as well. We'll do our best to check in over there. And Sebastian misses away. Allen, 28 for 77 on the year. He has 3 doubles, 3 triples, 7 home runs, and 10 runs batted in. And when this guy is hot and he can heat up and have a day, and he starts this one with a base hit. And he takes a big wide turn with his good speed. So Pecker aboard to begin the game. No one will really ever forget the championship Saturday that Alan Pecker put on at the ISC World Tournament, not last year in Mankato, but the year before in Surrey, British Columbia, on that championship Saturday where Hill ran the table and won 3 games in a row. They're in a similar spot, of course, a lot more on the line here today, as they were on that championship Saturday. And in that 3 games, Alan Pecker went 6 for 9 with 4 home runs, 8 runs batted in, including 3 for 3 in the title game against the Gremlins with 2 homers and 4 runs batted in. And now the red-hot Brad Ezekiel, the 39-year-old from Harbor, Maine, Newfoundland, who is 6 for 12 here in Tavistock with a double, 2 home runs, and 5 runs batted in, as he has taken over top spot to no one's surprise in the home run and run batted in category this season for Hill United, as he swings over top of what looked to be a drop ball. Ball and 2 strikes to the player who was named Player of the Decade in the ISC recently, a decade that started in the year 2010. And in tight for a strike, as Sebastian spins one in, a low rise that found the inside corner. And Ezekiel thought it was inside. So Sebastian has his first strikeout of the morning, and now it's second baseman Lenny Viavazzo. And on the run is Alan Pecker, and he's out. I'm not sure if it was after he'd reached the bag as Luigi Pinto, or make that Rafa Flores with a great throw. And a heck of a tag by Angel Adames at second base. He's one of the newcomers this year for the Express. So 2 away in the first, and that one gets away a little from Sebastian. Lenny Viavazzo has had a really, really good season. This is the only weekend where it's been a little difficult for him at home plate. And again, has shown in a lot of big spots over the last couple of years that he is someone to be reckoned with in many big games and in contests just like this one. As again, Sebastian works in. That looked to be a high drop and takes a bite out of the veteran catcher from Venezuela, Rafa Flores, as he squeezes out that left hand or wrist. Villavazo is 21 for 60 on the year. He's doubled 3 times, homered on 6 occasions, and he's knocked in 21. He was 1 for 3 with a home run in the last meeting of these two teams, the final in Kitchener. And Sebastian misses outside. Full count to Lenny Villavazo with 2 out in the top of the first. Marco Diaz will get the ball this morning for Hill United. Villavazo in on the hands, and that one will elude Cody Pannebecker, the starting third baseman, who gave it a good run but couldn't get to it. The Express 3-1 here in Tavistock in the round robin. Hill United 2-2. Is the lean back from Sebastian, and Villavazo, a towering shot, and it is gone. Lenny Villavazo has his 7th home run of 2026, and the Chiefs jump out to a 1-0 lead. As the pitch on the inner half was still a pitch that Villavazo, with that home run hat, was able to get through. And you knew it had a chance when it left the bat. And Hill United has generated a lot of their runs all season long that way. As Sebastian comes up and in on Bruno Matroni. Been wearing his Lionel Messi jersey around the hotel the last couple of days as Argentina in the final of the World Cup this afternoon. And the Chiefs, as you may or may not know, have a very healthy contingent of players from that country. And this just in, they're quite fond of their football or soccer over there. And Sebastian finds an outside corner against Matroni, who's really had a marvelous year at 40 years of age. I always refer to him as a true leader and one of the glue guys of this group. You don't have to spend a lot of time around him to understand his value. He's one of those people that you're drawn to, and yet he doesn't have to say a whole lot. And he is so important for all of the Spanish-speaking players. As again, Sebastian outside to Matroni. Lenny Villavazo has opened the game with a 2-out solo home run to give Hill United the lead. Sebastian looks down at the watch that is part of the PitchCom system. And Matroni draws a 2-out walk. So Alan Pecker with a base hit. He was thrown out trying to steal. Then a strikeout of Ezekiel before the Villavazo homer. And now Quentin Bruce is Villavazo, who made the last, not out, but was the last player to bat that is no longer on the bases. Runs for Bruno Matroni, the catcher. Quentin Bruce, 21 of 85. He's doubled 4 times, homered 3 times, and cashed in 13. And the majority of those runs batted in have come in the last couple of events. This on a big hop to Adames, who goes the short way to end the inning. Lenny Villavazo, high drive to left field, has given the Chiefs a 1-0 lead. Will set their defense and the Express batting order when we return on this Sunday in Tavistock on Softball Premier TV. Hill United with a 1-0 lead on Lenny Villavazo's home run in the top of the first. And now the order that Marco Diaz will face: Angel Adames in the leadoff spot, Pinto, Flores, Salgado, Panabecker, terrific shortstop in David Galino, and Yusuf Davis is the center fielder. And for Hill United on the defensive side, this is a lineup that chances are you might see come the opening game of the ISC World Tournament. Bruce, maybe Nick White, could very well be Brad Ezekiel in center, depending, but I can tell you this, Nick's had such a good year that you almost feel like you have to find a spot for him. Quentin Bruce, obviously in left, Alan Pecker in right, Blake Hunter, the captain, Shane Bolin, Lenny Villavazo at second. First baseman is Tony Gonzalez. Behind the plate is Bruno Matroni. And the ace of the staff is none other than 24-year-old Marco Diaz, who's 10-4 now on the year. Pitched 88 1/3. He has 149 strikeouts. Pitched 6 innings yesterday in a 1-0 loss at the hands of JDT First Energy. Struck out 8 in that game, and he'll face Angel Adames, who's from Venezuela and part of their gold medal winning team at last year's World Cup in Prince Albert, as Venezuela won the title for the first time ever. He's 0 for 8 on the year, and you look at the defense, because this is a absolute slap type hitter. And he will have some fairly happy feet at times in the batter's box, where he'll virtually dance out and then dance back in to try to make contact. Well, keep an eye on those feet, not going anywhere, as the Diaz pitch had late movement, but well out of the zone. As Marco falls behind Adames. 5 for 20 at that aforementioned World Cup. Went 4 for 23 earlier this year at the Pan American Championships. And Diaz finds the strike zone. An early start on this Sunday, where the Chiefs hope to play 3 games in succession. As Adames fouls that past head coach Paul Sebastian, the father of star player Ty Sebastian. Again, the Chiefs playing him to slap, potentially bunt. He's that kind of hitter, but there'll be no opportunity here as Diaz with the rise ball that tailed in to the left-handing hitting Adames. Callum Bichel, the Australian national teamer, 0 for 3 so far on the year versus Hill United. He only batted in the one game of the 3 that these teams have played against one another. It came in the 9-8 win for the Express over the Chiefs in the final of the tournament 2 weekends ago in Kitchener. Bichel, an impressive 8 for 24 at last year's ISC World Tournament, where these two teams battled for the title. And it was not a great battle in the championship finale, as Hill United had the bats in tremendous working order. They scored 10, and they ended the game in 4 innings. Shane Boland had a couple of homers in the game. Lenny V. Avazo walked it off in the 4th. As in that contest, Ty Sebastian, who pitched so well all week long, ran out of gas. Well, the tank's a little different for the Express this year, thanks to the 19-year-old sensation Carlos Parra, and he has been superb. Like the high drop that missed. So 3 balls and a strike to Bichel, who played for the Express last year. In 2024, he was a member of Circle Tap. Unfortunately, the Dukes no longer in existence. And a base hit for Bichel as he drives it past the glove of third baseman Blake Hunter. And Bichel has his first hit of the year against Hill United. As he pulls the inside pitch into left field. And now it's Ty Sebastian. 3 for 7 in games against Hill United this year, including a 2 for 2 effort in the final in Kitchener a couple of Sundays ago. With that orange bat, trying to lay down a bunt, Tony Gonzalez, and you could see whether it was footing or the sun in his eyes, it was absolutely glaring off the glasses. This won't do it justice because it's from a different angle, but as you take a second look, it's more about losing the footing than it was the sun. And Tony's happy to have made the play to retire Sebastian for out number 2. And now Luigi Pinto, the hard-hitting first baseman, the 39-year-old from Valencia, Venezuela. Luigi is 1 for 5 on the year against Hill. That hit came in the final. And a Marco Diaz changeup. No balls and 2 strikes. Hill United with an early 1-0 advantage in this quarterfinal game here in Travistock. Would categorize that as a good 0-2 pitch. And Pinto leans over the plate and able to foul it back.
And then all of a sudden it was right here. Because my coffee wasn't full. It'd be empty now.
Marco looks in, gets the sign, and will deliver. And another rise, this one up and in. Pinto had a quality ISC World Tournament last year. He was 11 for 26 in Mankato, Minnesota. That's 423. Change up, and Pinto having a good at-bat. He's another player who was with Circle Tap 2 years ago, and then when that team folded, he became a member of the Bear Creek Express. As the volume at both dugouts continues, and Marco Diaz. Excellent late movement on that pitch to get Luigi Pinto. So a couple of strikeouts, the Express with a hit and leave one. 1-0 Hill United after one. Here in Tavistock, you're watching Hill United Chiefs softball on Softball Premier TV. Lenny Villavazzo has given Hill United an early 1-0 lead as they're set to bat in the top of the second with their first baseman, Tony Gonzalez, the 36-year-old from Mexico. 1 for 7 here in Tavistock with a run batted in. That came in their first game. Or make that, he's now 3 for 11. He had an RBI in the opening game victory over the Oswegan Redmen. He was 2 for 4 in their final round robin game yesterday versus Nova Scotia's East Hants Mastodons. Tony has just really been about as consistent as they come. There's not a lot of drop off from one weekend to the next, and he always seems to deliver some key hits as well along the road. As Sebastian with a rise ball that misses the zone. 2 balls and a strike to Tony Gonzalez. He homered in the last meeting of these two teams on the ground to Galino. And there's one away. David Galino, as this illustrates, the good hands and a really quick release. Does not stay in his hand very long. As Sebastian delivers a strike to the captain and shortstop, Shane Boland, who's been moved around in the order during the weekend. He's hit second, and he's in the 7 spot for, I believe, the second time. No balls and 2 strikes. Shane has been battling an injury for about the last 3 weeks. Off the glove of Sebastian. Galino barehanded, gave it a go. And this will be a hit for Shane Boland. So Sebastian, who will field his position as well as anyone, reach trying to make the play. And again, Galino had only one opportunity to barehand the ball and try his best to get Bolin, but was unable to. And now Blake Hunter. Blake had a terrific start to this event. Couple of hits on Friday night. A homer and 3 runs batted in against Oswegan. And would love to have a big Sunday. Did not have a hit in the 9-8 setback in the final of the Kitchener tournament when these two teams played in the championship affair, not in a quarterfinal like they are this morning. Ball and a strike to the Nanaimo, British Columbia product. Two balls and a strike. And Blake Hunter lays off a drop ball down and away. So a good hitter's count. 1 out here in the second. A check swing. It went a long way as Yusuf Davis rifles it back in a hurry to keep Shane Boland at first. Blake did not finish that swing. That's a check swing. And it ended up fairly deep in center for U.S. national team member Yusuf Davis. So 2 away for the 22-year-old Nick White. White has homered twice this weekend here in Tavistock. Did so in the first 2 games, including one in the second game of a doubleheader for Hill United off of Jack Besgrove. Just continues to get better and better. What a future Nick White has. And he might be as fast as anyone in the sport. That orthodox pitch from Sebastian. He doesn't use it a lot, where it's not the full, but it's the 3/4 type windup. Lays down a bunt. Always difficult to try to retire. And it's well executed by Nick White. And talked about him being one of the fastest, if not the fastest player right now in the game. And he just gave you a little example of it right there. So a bunt base hit for White as he adds to his quality batting totals. Alan Pecker singled to start the game up the middle and then was thrown out trying to steal. As Hill United looking to potentially add to their early advantage. And a strike, at least I thought it might have been. Should leave that to the people who do such a good job calling balls and strikes. They're very good at it. Sebastian just outside. And Alan Pecker with a good hitter's count. 2 balls and no strikes. Pecker has 7 big flies this season. And this pitch does find the outer half. 2 outs in the top of the second, a quarterfinal game between two teams that will figure prominently, and Alan Pecker slashes it to left. A double and a run batted in for the 28-year-old from Argentina, and it's 2-0 Hill United. Again, when this guy gets dialed in, he can have some awfully large days. 2 for 2, a double and a run batted in as the Chiefs extend their advantage. And still runners at second and third with a boatload of speed. And Brad Ezekiel, this will be interesting, with a base open. You do not want to make a mistake right here, or you could end up with an early crooked number. There is rarely a great hitter anywhere in either this sport or baseball that doesn't arrive at that spot without a great eye. And that is one of Ezekiel's greatest fortes, and he delivers this base hit to left. His hot weekend continues. Brad Ezekiel with 2 more runs batted in as he and Luigi Pinto with an exchange as it's past the diving Cody Pannebecker, and Hill United have extended their advantage to 4-0. There was a bit of a different feel this morning for Hill United at the hotel as they were gathering to leave. Just a little more intensity. Weren't overly pleased with how things had gone on the weekend to this point, and seemed like they left the hotel this morning with a little extra determination. So Lenny Villavazzo, who got things started with a solo home run in the first, is the batter. So Brad Ezekiel, another big hit. He is now 7 for 13 in Tavistock with a couple of home runs, a double, and 7 runs batted in. He's up to a team-leading 27 now on the season. It's why, in my opinion, he's one of the best to ever do it. Full count to Villavazzo. As the Chiefs have put up a 3 spot against Sebastian and the Express in the second. And Villavazzo stays alive on a pitch that he was just trying to protect the plate. And if you think this game has anyone in a ton of trouble, all you have to do is reflect back to the game they played in the final of the Holman Memorial in Kitchener. That game ended up 9-8. In that game, it was Hill United who found themselves down early by a 4 spot. Bear Creek scored 4 in the first. And Villavazzo with a 2-out walk as the inning continues. So Matroni off with the shin guards. And Bruno will come to bat. He walked versus Sebastian in the first. Ball one to the veteran catcher from Argentina. Has stepped away the last number of years from national team duties. He played a massive role in his country's World Cup title in Prague in 2019, where he had 10 hits in that tournament. Still no activity up for the Express, as Sebastian comes way in on the Chiefs catcher. Tailing away for another ball. And now Matroni can potentially get locked in, decide on an area and a pitch that he might want to drive. And it misses for ball four. And the bases are loaded already with 3 across the plate in this inning. And I believe that Carlos Parra is starting to loosen as Paul Sebastian comes out and has a chat with his group, including his son. And over the years, in all the sports I've been around, in a fairly lengthy career of doing so, in the scenario where father and son are in this position, it's not father and son now, it's coach and player. And it has to be that way. Check swing for Bruce. A bobble for Sebastian. And still had time to come home with it. 3 more runs. 2 off a Brad Ezekiel single. And the Chiefs off to a good start in this quarterfinal on this Sunday morning in Tavistock. Hill United with a big second inning. They scored 3 more runs and lead by 4. But when these types of teams get together, there is a lot of innings to work with to put up runs. Marco Diaz. 2 strikeouts. And when he is at the top of his game, 4 runs should be a great number for him to work with as he faces veteran catcher Rafa Flores from Venezuela. His first at-bat of the day. Drop ball swung on and missed by Flores. Be interesting to put a camera on Rafa, or a mic probably would be a better option. It's always entertaining when number 23 is involved. You don't have to guess a lot with Rafa. He'll let you know one way or another. And Diaz is throwing with excellent velocity on this Sunday morning. He's got it dialed up a tad. Full count to Flores. Struck him out with a well-located drop ball. I don't know how you hit 85 to begin with from 46 feet, but when it moves like that and it's underneath your hands as a right-handed batter, you're left with very little opportunity to make contact. The batter is the left fielder, Alan Salgado, who resides in San Diego. He homered in the 9-8 win in the championship final of the Hallman Memorial in Kitchener 2 Sundays ago. In fact, he had a home run in the round robin 2-1 win, and then such a different game on Sunday. That one was played Saturday night, as Carlos Parra gave up one hit until late in the game and struck out 16 in a 2-1 victory. And then the next day they played again for the title in Kitchener, and it was 9-8. This one's had a similar beginning, and now the Chiefs, what they want to prevent is any kind of big comeback. They had a couple of large ones in that 9-8 loss and couldn't quite close it out. And that ball, did it move late? I've mentioned it a few times. I really, other than Billy and Bobby Blackfly up here in the booth, really enjoy calling a game from this vantage point. And the batter is third baseman Cody Pannebecker, who calls Denver, Pennsylvania home. But understand he spends a lot of time now in Ontario. He sends that back to the screen that's not very far away from home plate here in Tavistock. So has a runner, you have to be a little bit more alert. It's interesting. We're almost in an odd way, although the season is starting to wind down all of a sudden. It's been a busy one. And it's the rise ball for the out pitch. Marco Diaz has struck out 4 in a row. He has 5 in the game. And Hill United in the driver's seat early. They lead 4-0 in this quarterfinal on this Sunday in Tavistock.
Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here, you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon. Welcome to Monthill. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly.
Leading off the top of the third inning for the Hill United Chiefs. First baseman.
Things going well for the Hill United Chiefs on this Sunday. This is a quarterfinal game. The winner of this will take on the Bear Creek Gremlins, and if the Chiefs would go on to win this game, it would mark their 7th meeting of 2026. They only played against one another 4 times all of 2025. Now, granted, it was a different year as far as the ISC tournament type schedule is concerned, with 2 major world events, the World Cup and the World Games. So it was a shortened club level season, but not this year. Tony Gonzalez down a couple of strikes and lays off that 0-2 pitch from Ty Sebastian. Tony grounded out to shortstop David Galino, his first time. This one is foul. Ball and 2 strikes to the first baseman, and this one's a drop that misses. Down and away to even the count. Gonzalez to the track and run down by Yusuf Davis. As Tony Gonzalez just missed adding to the Hill United advantage. You knew off the bat it had an opportunity, but Yusuf Davis was able to track it for out number 1. And now Shane Boland, who delivered an infield single in his first at-bat of the day. Always enjoy my time around Shane. Just one of those players who's really done it all in the sport. I call him the engine of the Chiefs, and he very much is. 36 years old now. And what great veteran players know how to do, especially in the big event, the ISC World Tournament, is dial it up when it matters most. Shane gets caught looking on this occasion. And Ty Sebastian, who has not had the beginning in the game that he would like, wants to put up a 0 here. And Blake Hunter lifts it. Long way back for Galino. He's got great range, and I think he came up with it. He did indeed. Almost ran past it and then had to dive back. This will be an excellent replay. Might not be exactly how he had it planned, but he delivered. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Sebastian and the Express, who will come to bat in this quarterfinal game in Tavistock.
Top half of the third inning for Hill United Chiefs. Nothing apiece.
Hill United 3 in the second and lead the Bear Creek Express in their fourth meeting of the season. The Express with a 2-1 season series lead. Marco Diaz, very effective early in the game. 5 strikeouts, 35 pitches through the first 3 innings. Shane Boland had mentioned that he's been battling through some injury. And Khalil Luna, the 22-year-old, comes in at shortstop. He hit his first homer of the year as a Chief yesterday, and it doesn't take long for the ball to get to him. Oh, welcome to the game, Mr. Luna. David Galino knew he was out. He barely made it up the line. And the one thing about Khalil Luna, and you don't need a lot of viewings, is to understand that he has very soft hands and a good throwing arm. So 1 pitch and 1 out in the bottom of the third. And now, United States national team member, center fielder Yusuf Davis. He has homered against the Chiefs this year. And Davis with a quality cut on the rise ball.
I was ready this time.
No Japanese national team member Yusuke Morita in the lineup today for Bear Creek. Boy, did he have a championship Sunday in the final against Hill United. 2 weeks ago, he had 2 3-run homers in the 9-8 win. Well, they checked at third, and Dave Thompson said he didn't go. Diaz pulls the string with a changeup. The 31-year-old Yusuf Davis, who calls Las Vegas home. And they're going to check maybe again. At least I thought they might. Nope, he definitely checked that time. Full count to Yusuf Davis. See what Diaz and Matroni have lined up, and not that. That changeup got away on him. So first walk of the game for Marco Diaz. He'd been rolling right along until that point. And back to the top of the order, and second baseman Angel Adames, who struck out versus Diaz in the first. And you always have to be aware of This batter can do a little of everything, and the hands are always well separated. Be a little trickier, too, to bring people in with a runner on base, because your middle infield certainly has to stay back, and Davis runs so well. As Diaz works ahead of Adames. 1-0, the Toronto Batmen in front of JDT First Energy in the other quarterfinal going on at nearby Optimus Park. That game in the bottom of the fourth. As Adames, for a second time, goes down on strikes. The rise ball at the top of the zone gets the job done for strikeout number 6. 2 away for Callum Bichel from New South Wales in Australia. He has the lone hit so far in the game off of Diaz, and showed bunt, pulled the bat back. Drop ball. Bichel got a piece. Callum 4 for 15 for Australia at last year's World Cup. His most productive game came in a 2 for 2 outing against Canada. Marco Diaz. The rise ball has really become a big part of the arsenal, and that is how he delivered to strike out Bichel. 7 strikeouts for Marco Diaz. It's 3-0, or now 4-0, after 3 here in the quarterfinal. Four to nothing, Hill United. They scored 3 in the second inning to jump out in front. Nick White with a beautiful bunt for a base hit off Ty Sebastian in the game. The 22-year-old from Truro, Nova Scotia. Have him now at 27 for 63. Couple of doubles, 4 home runs, and 14 runs batted in. And when you face these kind of lineups, no lead ever feels like it's enough. Although Marco Diaz certainly looks like he's brought his A game to the park on this Sunday morning. Nick playing in center field today. allows Brad Ezekiel to be in the designated player role. And the pause from Sebastian. Now he'll, as he tends to do when he's a tad agitated, will take a bit of an extra walk, I've found over the years, behind the circle to reset. And now he'll come back to work. That pitch certainly did not end up where the catcher wanted it. That doesn't mean that it can't be a strike, though. That isn't. And now you've walked the speedster. Rafa Flores already with a throw out attempting to steal of Alan Pecker, who's now the batter. And Alan's had a great day. He's singled, he's doubled, and cashed in a run. Not a pitch out, but not far from either. Can be a bit of an advantage, too, trying to steal a base when it's a left-handed batter and the right-handed catcher. Alan Pecker with a near slap base hit. Adames had to be quick. Allen with a plan, and it almost paid big dividends. Quick release in time to get Allen. And I don't think that'll go as a sacrifice. Throw back from Flores. As they'll clean up and put the bag back on the magnet. Brad Ezekiel already a single and 2 runs batted in, has another runner in scoring position. But as was the case earlier in the game, there's a base open too. Not exactly sure what they're asking about here, but they're meeting on how maybe they want to defend Nick White, thinking about the possibility that he might try to steal third. Can't really see it, even though he more than has the ability, but I don't think you want to take a run batted in potential opportunity away from this guy. Can't see it anyway. So Ezekiel having a marvelous weekend, hopes to add to it. Now 7 for 14 here in Tavistock. Couple of home runs, a double, 2 more RBI today. He's up to 7 in the tournament. That can be a season for some. Ball and 2 strikes. 1 out in the top of the 4th. Tied him in a knot. Good pitch by Sebastian. And it has to be a great pitch to get Ezekiel. And he was upset at himself. So 2 out for Lenny Viavazo, who started the ball rolling today with a 2-out home run in the top of the first inning to left field. Nick White will almost certainly score with how deep the outfielders are playing Viavazo on any ball hit in front of them in the outfield. And Viavazo with a big swing. Fouled it back. Quarterfinal game, the Bear Creek Gremlins await the winner in one semifinal. The Northeast Drillers ended up in run differential tie-breaking formula, finished first in the other group, so they await the winner of the Batman and JDT First Energy. Viavazo hit it on the nose, but hit it at Alan Salgado. He crunched it. So Viavazo swinging it well on this Sunday, and this one, unfortunately, in the wrong spot for the Chiefs. It remains 4-0 on our way to the bottom of the fourth on the home of Hill United Chiefs Softball Premier TV.
Top of the fourth inning for Hill United. There was one hit. Runner left.
In the other quarterfinal over at Optimus Park, it's a pitcher's duel between the Batman's Roman Godoy, the former Hill United Chief, and JDT First Energy. And it is the Batman leading 1-0, despite the fact that through 5 innings, Pami Madzalukwa from Botswana, who shut out Hill United yesterday in a round-robin game, has 12 strikeouts. But yet it's JDT that trails. The pitcher is the batter, Ty Sebastian. A staple in recent years for Canada's national men's team, played at the World Cup in Prince Albert, and I would still think will be in the mix come the next World Cup in 2029. And there is some talk that that event could be held in Canada and maybe even somewhere in Ontario. Heard that whisper in the last 7 or 8 days, but I'll leave it right there. As Marco Diaz says, that's on me. Has not fallen behind a lot of batters on this Sunday, has 7 strikeouts, and has only given up the 1 hit. As Sebastian fouls that back. Tie on a bunt attempt popped out to Tony Gonzalez, who almost fell in the bottom of the first. Feet almost came out from under him. Diaz. And Marco really fields his position well. He makes it look so easy. There he is. Nothing ever really phases him. And one away for hard-hitting first baseman Luigi Pinto, who almost comes right out of his shoes on every swing. He does not get cheated. That is for certain. He's 39 years of age now, from Venezuela. Not sure what Rafa Flores is out doing, but that's Rafa being Rafa. That's who he is. It's always a bit of an extra show put on, and I appreciate it. He certainly doesn't blend in. Ooh, Diaz with a drop that just missed outside. Pinto struck out in his first at-bat. Now 1 for 6 on the year against Hill United. And while we do not have our StatCast in operation at this event, Marco Diaz is bringing it on this Sunday. Two and two. Bottom of the fourth with one out and a Hill United 4-0 advantage. And the rise ball away on this occasion. It's been a key strikeout pitch in this game. And see where Marco will go with the payoff at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Piece of it, not enough. Another Diaz strikeout. Went to the drop at 3-2. And just a little touch from Pinto, but into the glove of Bruno Matroni. As Rafael Flores about to step in now officially, after he was working on the foul line a couple of minutes ago. He's something else. Like I said, you don't need more than one guess to know how this guy's feeling. Yeah, we have to mic this guy up at some point. A lot of grunts and groans. Been a really good player for a long time. This one high, but not deep. Nick White takes charge. A 1-2-3 inning for Marco Diaz and Hill United. They continue to lead in this quarterfinal affair. 4-0 after 4 on Softball Premier TV.
Bottom half of the 4th inning for Bear Creek Express. Nothing across. Score remains Hill United 4, Bear Creek no score.
Hill United lead the game 4-0. They scored their 4 runs in the first 2 innings. They have 6 hits off Ty Sebastian.
Bruno Matroni.
Marco Diaz has been terrific through 4 innings, giving up that 1 hit, and he has 8 strikeouts to his credit, as the Chiefs would like to add to this advantage. Now, when quality opponents like this play one another, and these are the top 3 ranked teams, 2 of the 3, the Gremlins are the other, face one another, shortened games seem like they have little chance of happening. But on a day where you would need to play 3 and win 3 from this position in the playoff round to win this tournament, a shortened affair would be helpful. Not likely. But Hill United in front by a 4, and another big inning could accomplish that feat, but Ty Sebastian and the Express, other ideas. But Sebastian falls behind Matroni, who's already walked once in the game. Matroni taking all the way at 3 balls and no strikes. Matroni gives it a ride, and again, solid back to the track. So 2 hard-hit balls the last 2 at-bats. One from Villavazo, and this one off the bat of Matroni, but in both cases just long outs to David Salgado. Tough play, but Adames stayed with it. Tried to one-hand it. Rolls up his glove, but he kept his eye right on the ball, barehanded it, and delivered to get Quentin Bruce, who gets down the line quickly. So Ty Sebastian, who had some difficulties early, has retired the last 6 Chiefs he has faced, although a couple of very hard-hit balls in that stretch of time. Tony Gonzalez hit a ball pretty well to center. His last at-bat that Yusuf Davis had to go back on the track to make the catch. And this one really got away from Ty, but if that's going to happen, always best when there's no runners on base. And as was the case with Bruno Matroni to begin the inning, he's fallen behind Tony Gonzalez. Rise ball on the inner half, finds the zone. And Tony will walk.
Two away, the batter. Shortstop number 95,
Khalil Luna, who came into the game a couple innings ago defensively with his first at-bat, and his last at-bat as a Chief was a rocket to left center, and he pulls this with authority into left. And then the ball is spilled, and Gonzalez will take an extra 60 feet. And Jeff Ellsworth with an extra piece of appreciation for Tony Gonzalez. And it looks like Ty Sebastian is going to give way here. We'll take a break and be back to let you know who the next pitcher is for the Express. They trail Hill United 4-0 in the fifth in this quarterfinal. Ty Sebastian gives way to the 19-year-old sensation from Mexico, Carlos Parra, who at 19 really opened a lot of eyes in the softball world back in the early part of 2026. When he pitched Mexico to the gold medal at the Pan American Championships, in the championship final, he pitched a one-hit, 9-inning shutout with 16 strikeouts against Argentina as Mexico won the title with a 1-0 victory. Have watched him on video for the last few years, and it was pretty evident in some major events that this young guy had some special stuff. And he's been very, very good in his 12 1/3 innings this year against Hill United. Given up 1 run, 3 hits, has 30 strikeouts, and walked 5. 16 of those strikeouts came in a round-robin meeting between these two teams in Kitchener. He came on in the final to close out the 9-8 win. But he was fabulous in the round-robin game with 16 strikeouts. The only mistake he made in that game was a first-inning home run to the first batter that he faced in Alan Pecker. And after that, he shut the door. He needs to shut the door again here. Runners at second and third for Blake Hunter. And again, because of the distance, which is minimal to the backstop, it makes it very difficult for almost anyone to score on a wild pitch or pass ball. As Parra looks at the pitch comm device. And Hunter pops it. Foul. Parra comes off the rubber like a slingshot. He just comes right at you. Big hop. Just launches himself. And one of the early observations is there's not a lot to this guy. But wait till he matures and adds some strength. You don't have to watch a lot of pitches to know that he can bring it. The movement is really good. More often than not, the location is excellent. He is potentially going to give hitters at the highest level a headache for a long time. Already is. So he enters the game and records a strikeout. So the Chiefs threaten, leave a pair, but still lead by 4 in this quarterfinal of the CEPHAS ROTH Memorial Tournament in Travistock. It remains 4-0. Marco Diaz has surrendered just one hit, has 8 strikeouts, and deals with left fielder Alan Salgado. Drop ball, swung on and missed by Salgado. Struck out his only time in the batter's box today. And Marco Diaz, to this point, has been in fine form. He's one of the best on the planet. He has a bit of a chuckle, and I find he always, to this point, is more likely to be at his best when the veteran catcher Matroni is behind the plate. And that is to say nothing about Luciano Biondi, who has such a incredible future. But when you have a player that's been around like Bruno and one of the game's best at that position for many years, it's a little different. And it's such a vital, important part. In many ways, you're the quarterback of the team back there and make a lot of decisions on pitch choice and how to set batters up. That takes some time. That takes experience. That doesn't happen overnight, to learn the hitters and tendencies and have a great feel for your pitcher. There's a lot to it. As Diaz comes in on Salgado. in the air, and it'll drop. So just the second hit of the day as Salgado bloops one into left.
Batting third baseman number 10, Cody Panabeck.
He's got the end of the bat on it, and there was no chance for Quentin Bruce to make the play. So Salgado will be run for by Chase Konechny,
24 out, 7 in.
who has good speed.
Play.
And the third baseman, Pennebecker, the batter.
Running at first, number 7, Chase Konechny.
As Pennebecker tries to lay down a bunt, and more, I think, for a base hit than any sacrifice opportunity. You're not likely sacrificing down 4 in the 5th. And it doesn't happen all that much anymore anyway. This has really become a power, pitching power and batting power game. Excellent drop. Again, Diaz gets out in front. He did so against Salgado, but Salgado stayed with it and blooped one into left. Ball and 2 strikes to Cody Pennebecker. On the ground, Viavazo for 1. Luna, double play. And there's one of the reasons you can't help but like the 22-year-old Khalil Luna. Footwork, great turn, quality throw. And just like that, there are 2 away. And good feed from Viavazo. Can't forget about that. He gave Luna every opportunity to turn it over. As Galeno out front of a changeup from Marco Diaz. Ball and a strike to David Galeno. And he's another player that has a lot of tools in the kit. Grounded out to Luna. In fact, it was, I believe, the first pitch that Luna had come in for, and it got back to him in a hurry. So he didn't have to waste a lot of time to be involved in the game. It's funny how the ball always seems to find the players who enter the game. High rise and a gem. A double play, the key in that inning. And then Diaz closes it with his 9th strikeout. We're through 5 in this quarterfinal game in Tavistock. And Hill United in front by 4 on Softball Premier TV.
Bottom half of the 5th inning for Bear Creek.
In the other quarterfinal game going on at nearby Optimus Park, the pitching duel continues. 1-0. The Toronto Batman, Ramon Godoy versus Pami Madzalukwa. 1-0 for the Batman with no one out in the bottom of the 7th. And Godoy, now there's one out, has thrown only 72 pitches in that game. So talk about being efficient. So a real pitcher's duel. The winner of that game will take on the Northeast Drillers, who did not participate in the Peter Hallman Memorial Tournament a couple of weeks ago in Kitchener. And it's funny, the Chiefs, who have had so many meetings with the Gremlins, JDT, this is the 4th with the Bear Creek Express. They've played the Batman a bunch. They haven't played the Drillers this year. Just funny how it's all worked. And they'd have to meet today in a final in order to do so here. And it's the Bear Creek Gremlins who await the winner of this game in a semifinal that will be played about a half an hour, I would guess, or 20-plus minutes after this game comes to a conclusion. As Carlos Parra, in his second inning of work, came in with 2 on and 2 out in the 5th and struck out Blake Hunter to end the threat. Nick White, on base twice, has scored a run, a single and a walk for Nick. And the rise ball is up and out of the zone. Nick White, another base hit as he rips it, and he's on his way to second, and he'll be safe. Oh, speed can hurt, and the ball thrown away. Apparently time was called. The gazelle that is Nick White. No hesitation. A double for the pride of Truro, Nova Scotia. As he delivers a hit off Carlos Parra that have been hard to come by when these two teams have met one another. Alan Pecker, who's 2 for 3 on the day. Pulls it, but foul. Hill United with 1 in the first on a Villavazo home run, and then they scored 3 more in the second, and it stayed that way. Change up. And Parra finds the strike zone with it. So again, looks at the PitchCom device, and then the low rise on the outside corner to get Alan Pecker for out number 1. As he spins it, the rise ball Flores pulled it. As Brad Ezekiel has delivered 2 of the 4 runs today with a single. One for 3 in the game, but the one hit made a significant difference. It put the Chiefs in a commanding spot. As the drop comes in and out of the zone from Parra, who gave up a leadoff double to Nick White, and it was his speed that stretched it there. Not a lot of players turn that ball into a double. Another drop in on the hands. As Brad asks home plate umpire Frankie Billingsley whether that would have been a called strike had he not swung. At some point, if you're to three-peat as ISC World Champions, and that is the hope for Hill United, they've done it once in their history. Figuring out Carlos Parra could very much enter the equation at some point. These two teams are not on the same side of the bracket. Barring any upsets, their first meeting might be in a winner's bracket final on the Friday night, but a lot of softball to be played prior to that. That would be in a perfect world for both of these teams, but there's lots of other teams that will provide quality opposition on the road to get to that spot. In the case of Hill United, at some point would mean a date with JDT or the Northeast Drillers, who are on their side of the bracket. For the Express, that would mean wins over the Toronto Batmen and the Gremlins in order to provide that kind of scenario. So that's a different look from Parra, almost turned to the side. And always important to just, provide the batter with not only different pitches, speeds, locations, but even a different look like that to Lenny Villavazzo. Same motion, but that time a changeup. Usually just jumps straight out of there right at you. Villavazzo is homered, and he ripped one for an out to left and showed a good eye to stay off of that. Villavazzo swinging it well on this Sunday. And again, lays off. And did not have a hit in this tournament prior to this morning. It's funny how these things work. You can struggle Friday and Saturday, but if Sunday is good, that's all anybody tends to remember, I find. Parra shakes off 2, and now he'll deliver. Only to have the home plate umpire ask for time. The payoff to Villavazzo, and he'll draw a walk with 2 out.
Now batting the catcher, number 28, Bruno Matroni.
Now Bruno Matroni he hit a ball solidly for an out to almost the track in left. He walked his first time. And while 4 is a pretty nice little cushion, if you're Hill United, you wouldn't mind adding even just one more. When you arrive at 5, not even a grand slam could tie the game. And the Express more than capable of coming up with a big inning. No balls and 2 strikes. And I'm not sure why. And he's young. He's new to it. But Parra's had a bit of a tendency, I've found, in this now, his 3rd appearance of the year against Hill United, to have some difficulty with what comes into him on that pitch comm. Always seems to be a bit of a battle for him. Nothing else really seems to be, but that does. As he takes a good chunk of time, again, to look down and see it, and then comes with a changeup, and Nick White on the spill moves up 60. Another changeup. And again, out of the zone. 2-2 to Bruno Matroni, who has 23 runs batted in so far in 2026. Stayed back on the changeup, not quite long enough. So Parra with 3 of them in a row, and the fly out to end the 6th. So Nick White with a double. They put a little pressure on Carlos, but he's able to work his way out of it. To the bottom of the 6th we go in this quarterfinal, and it remains 4-0 Hill United. The other quarterfinal at Optimus Park has come to a conclusion. What a pitcher's duel between Roman Godoy and Pami Madzalukwa. Madzalukwa gave up 6 hits, 1 run, struck out 18, and it wasn't enough to win. As the Batmen move on to play the Drillers in a semifinal, Roman Godoy, the winner, he gives up no runs on 6 hits, struck out 2. Mitch McKay drove in the only run of that game, and it happened in the 4th. So the Batmen eliminate JDT First Energy. So this tournament, in terms of trying to capture the crown here in Tavistock, down to 5 teams left with an opportunity. Hill United looking to move into the final 4 of the event. And this probably, in many ways, the big inning. Always find that when you have a sizable lead, if you can get through the 6th in the same position, or even if you were in a position to give up 1. But I find this is where it can really change at certain times. This helps the Chiefs' cause as Yusuf Davis opens the inning with a ground out to Lenny Viavazzo. Angel Adames, the batter from Venezuela. Second baseman, the slap hitter. And he slaps it towards Quentin Bruce, who takes a couple of steps in, and quickly there are 2 away.
With 2 out, the batter is right fielder number 27, Cal Bishop.
Marco has given up only 2 hits in the game, one of them all the way back in the 1st to the gentleman at home plate, Callum Bichel. A drop in on the hands. To begin. The rise just out of the zone. Ball and a strike to Callum Bichel. Or maybe 2-1. I think it's 1-1. Yeah, it's. I have 2 options, and all I have had to do is watch what's happening with the scoreboard in center field. To say that the buttons on it are touchy would be a ridiculous understatement. Blake Hunter. You know, I have to say this on both teams' accounts. Wouldn't mind, even though your chances are not good, to run some of these out. Just a thought. You don't have to agree, and they don't, because they're not doing it, and they don't really care what I think. To the 7th we go, and a 4-0 Hill United Chiefs advantage.
Inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go. But I'm proud to say, as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
We head to the top of the seventh. Hill United, 1 in the first, 3 in the second, and that is where the game has stayed. Both, well, especially the Chiefs. The Chiefs have threatened a lot, but haven't been able to put any more on the board. Marco Diaz is, to this point, this might be one of his best games that I have witnessed all season. He has been superb. 9 strikeouts, given up only 2 hits. Change up to Bruce. It backs up Adames, but he'll throw out Quentin Bruce for out number 1. Played the hop very well. Tony Gonzalez walked in the 5th. Yeah, again, it's just another situation where either there's a lot of shaking off, but it can take Parra some time. And there's that almost wind house from the side motion. He almost turns his body over instead of just coming at you straight up with the delivery. Did it again. Maybe it happens more often than I think. Came on with 2 outs in the 5th and 2 on for Sebastian. Carlos Parra will not turn 20 years old until the 18th of September. And I wondered during the offseason who might land him. Now, remember in the ISC, you only really have an opportunity to protect one pitcher. They're called prawns. And that status is achieved by being a first or second team all-world pitcher. So it makes things interesting, potentially adds more parity because you can't load up exactly the way you want to. You really, in many ways, need to find a star, add around, and hope Frankie Billingsley's okay. I'm not sure she ever has a bad day. I've never seen her unhappy. Just the warmest, friendliest. If you don't like Frankie Billingsley, you don't like humans. It's that simple. She's awesome. Ooh. Tony Gonzalez. As Carlos Parra comes right to him. Yeah, Tony's in tough shape. That gets on you fast. Parra hit Pipolo Lopez in the tournament in Kitchener at about the same velocity. The Chiefs are unhappy about it. They saw what happened to Pipolo Lopez. Oh, now Flores is having a conversation. Now everybody's going to come out. Now Sebastian and Boland, longtime teammates with Canada's national team. And Marco Diaz having a nice conversation with Rafa Flores. Now, you don't like to see part of this, but that was something to pay attention to. The opposing pitcher comes and calms down the opposing catcher. Seen a lot of things in sports. That one is something that I'm not sure I have ever seen. But sports are emotional, and this is a game played by some very emotional people who come from emotional countries. I'll just leave it right there. It's different. This said by one of the most emotional Canadians you'd ever meet. But it's a little different in certain places in the world in comparison to most Canadians, maybe even North Americans. It's different. Khalil Luna came in to replace Shane Boland. And remember, part of what you just saw is just letting your opponent know that the World Tournament isn't that far away. That was part of what just happened there. As Luna, upset at himself, felt like maybe he had something to work with, and popped up to right. So Pipolo Lopez off the bench to bat for Blake Hunter in this spot. Righty-lefty isn't quite as big a deal in softball as it is in baseball, but I still think it's an advantage. Seventh inning, 2 outs, and a little extra emotion and drama to go hand in hand with what's been a pretty good ball game. And Parra pours in a low rise, swung on and missed by Lopez. And Pipolo, he remembers his last dealing with Carlos Parra. That's what sparked that response. Pipolo hit in a tough area and ended up in the hospital. So he goes down looking on this occasion. We are going to the bottom of the seventh in this quarterfinal. The Hill United Chiefs, 3 outs away from moving on to a semi. But still work to be done here in Tavistock. So the Express down to their last crack at it, and they're in need of 4. Marco Diaz has been terrific, and he's also played peacemaker to go along with his dynamite performance in the circle. Settled down catcher Rafa Flores, who, as I told you, you can't really watch a game that Rafa Flores plays in where you don't notice. And he's trying to protect his young pitcher, and Chiefs were sending a message to say, we know what's gone on. Diaz used all of that 6'4" frame, and it's always a smile. It's pretty casual in nature. The big bounder, this isn't an easy play, reaches back, and the little toss to get Sebastian. On the ground to Luna. Up the line a little bit, and Tony Gonzalez had to put the tag on Luigi Pinto.
Two away, the batter is the catcher, number 23, Rafael Flores.
So now it's Diaz against Flores in a different way, and Marco pours in a first pitch strike. The Chiefs' star pitcher has been at the top of his game. I think this might be as good an outing as he's had all season, and he's had some good ones. But to this point, he has held this very good hitting Express team to 2 hits. And now it's Bruno Matroni who pays the price on the foul tip. Flores and Salgado right there. I've got to learn Spanish for a lot of different reasons. More than I could ever even start to tell you as to why. It would really help. So Craig Lyons, the tremendous athletic therapist for Hill United, came out quickly, but back he goes, and Flores just got a bat on it. So the Express down to their last strike. Hill United losing a couple, including the final to this team a couple of weekends ago. Luna, deep in the hole to end the game. And it was Marco the Magnificent here in Tavistock on this Sunday morning. Just a fabulous effort by number 7, who throws a 7-inning, 2-hit shutout with 9 strikeouts. So Hill United with 1 in the bank and another date with the rival Bear Creek Gremlins in a semifinal. It will be their 7th meeting of the season and 2nd of the weekend. We'll be back with that in about 25-30 minutes time. So long for now from Queen's Park in Tavistock.